Fear Street 1666 is the final part in the 3-part Fear Street movie series. We see Deena's spirit taken back to Sarah Fier's body in 1666. Deena is Sarah Fier in this timeline. Previous cast members all play a part in the 1666 sequences. Josh is Henry Fier in this timeline. Sarah lives in a small settlement town named Union, before it was divided into Shadyside and Sunnyvale. We see Ziggy play a character named Constance and Cindy play a character named Abigail. Sam plays the pastor's daughter, Hannah Miller, in this timeline. Tommy is Thomas in this timeline. Nick plays a character named Solomon, which Sarah gifts a pig. Later that night, Sarah and her friends Hannah Miller and Lizzie meet a reclusive widow to gather potent berries for a party, where Sarah stumbles on a book of black magic. Sarah gets warned by the reclusive widow and is told to get out of her tent. They all then attend the party and eat the berries they've gathered, which I guess has a drug-like effect on them. Hannah and Sarah are harassed by Caleb, then they run away from Caleb and start kissing, unknowingly as Mad Thomas watches them. They realize they're being watched, then run off claiming that they'd rather hang than lie about their love for each other. The next day, Hannah gathers Sarah, saying her father is acting strange. Hannah tells Sarah that her mother tells her not to see her anymore. The mother then appears and says Thomas told everyone in town about their sin. Everyone in town then stares at Sarah after the mother kicks her out. Sarah talks to her father and he tells her it's his fault she is this way. Sarah then discovers the town's food and water supplies is poisoned. Even her own pig eats its own offspring. Sarah then confides in Solomon Goode about everything and wonders if she is responsible for the town's bad luck. The town then discovers that Pastor Miller has murdered 12 children in the chapel, including Henry and Abigail's sister Constance. Solomon enters the chapel and discovers the pastor with no eyes with his victims who also have no eyes. Sarah enters the chapel and is attacked by Pastor Miller, who is then killed by Solomon. That night, a town meeting is held at which the townspeople decide that witchcraft is the cause of the events. As Sarah and Hannah eavesdrop on the meeting through a window, Caleb claims that Sarah and Hannah are the witches responsible, convincing the townspeople. The townspeople then hunt for Sarah and Hannah. Hannah is then captured while Sarah manages to escape. The town then declares that Hannah will be executed at dawn. Sarah sneaks into the chapel where Hannah is confined and the two profess their love. Sarah decides to retrieve the widow's book she discovered earlier and use it to make a deal with the devil to save Hannah. But she discovers that the book is gone and the widow is murdered. She runs to Solomon's house and hides after he is ambushed by men hunting her. While hiding, she finds tunnels under his house, discovering a ritual as well as the widow's book. Solomon appears and reveals he took the book to make a deal with the devil, offering Pastor Miller to be possessed in exchange for power and wealth. He offers to share it with her, but she rejects his offer and they fight. She tries to escape by climbing out of the tunnels, but Solomon continues to fight her with Sarah's hand being cut off in the struggle. She then escapes from the tunnels back to the chapel only to be captured by Solomon and the townspeople. She is then to be executed. At her and Hannah's execution, Sarah convinces the town to spare Hannah's life by proclaiming she is the witch and swears vengeance to Solomon before she is hanged. Later, Lizzie, Isaac, Hannah and Abigail grieve Sarah and properly bury her body. We then come back to the present day, set in 1994. Deena realizes that the Goode family is responsible for the Shadyside curse. Josh and Deena run away from Goode in the forest as she tells Josh that the firstborn of each generation of the Goode family repeats the ritual begun by their ancestor Solomon. They steal Nick's cop car. She then continues to say that because of these rituals, Sunnyvale has always prospered, while Shadyside has become worse. They then arrive at Ziggy's house. The trio decides they must kill Nick to end the Shadyside curse. After that, they recruit the help of Martin, the mole janitor, who Josh helped at the police station in the previous part. The group then creates a plan to lure Nick to the mole and set traps to have the Shadyside murderers kill him. The group manages to trap the killers, and Ziggy pours a bucket of Deena's blood mixed with neon paint over Nick, causing the killers to attack him. Deena cuts herself to lure the attackers. As Nick escapes into the tunnels, Deena follows him while the others fight off the killers, spraying them with blood, causing them to attack each other. Sam escapes, then attacks Deena, but she breaks Sam out of her possession temporarily before binding her. Nick nearly kills Deena, but she exposes him to the pile of beating organs in the tunnel, which gives him the visions of all the killer's victims, distracting him long enough for Deena to kill him. With the sheriff's death, the curse is lifted, releasing Sam and evaporating the killers. Sam and Deena escape the tunnels and end up in Nick's house in Sunnyvale. Sometime later, the Goode family are exposed for their actions while life improves for the residents of Shadyside. Ziggy reunites with Mrs. Lane. Josh meets his online friend from the chat rooms. Simon, Heather, and Kate are commemorated by the school. And Deena and Sam have a picnic date at Sarah Fier's grave, naming her the first Shadysider. The movie then ends. In a mid-credit scene, an unknown person takes the widow's satanic book from the tunnels, hinting at a possible continuation of the story in the future. The way the story all ties together to a conclusion is executed greatly. I would recommend this film series to any horror and slasher fans and teens just getting into the genre.